Hello and welcome to your favorite weekly news update. When we seek to discover the best in others, we somehow bring out the best in ourselves. So let's get ready and always step up to showing our kindness and compassion to the ones around us. The highlights of today's news capsule are: the Indian Army inducted its first batch of 83 women soldiers as part of its military police. Chief ministers sworn in Chennai, West Bengal, Assam, Kerala and Pondicherry. Indian companies strengthen fight against COVID. Spain ends COVID state of emergency. Large segment of Chinese rocket disintegrates over Indian Ocean. Bees in the Netherlands trained to detect COVID-19 infections. Seema Bisla books Olympic berth with gold medal. And last but not the least, our F2 segment. It's time to begin with the national news segment.
83 women military soldiers were a part of the first batch of inductees into the Indian Army from the Corps of Military Police Center. These soldiers went through an intensive training process which involved 61 weeks of basic military training as well as policing duties and management of prisoners of war, ceremonial duties and skill development to include driving and maintenance of all vehicles and signal communications. This is the first time that women have been inducted in the non-officer category, and their duties will be similar to those by male military police personnel.
India recently had elections in 4 states: Kerala, West Bengal, Assam and Tamil Nadu, and also in the Union Territory of Puducherry. Let's quickly get you acquainted with all the new as well as returning chief ministers from these respective states. Kerala re-elected Pinayari Vijayan to be the Chief Minister for the second time in a row, while in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee was elected for her 3rd term. Assam has a new Chief Minister with Himanta Baswa Sharma taking oath to be the new CM. Tamil Nadu also has a new Chief Minister with MK Stalin being sworn in. Finally, the Union Territory of Puducherry elected N. Rangaswamy, with this being his 4th stint as Chief Minister. We congratulate all these Chief Ministers and hope that their states prosper under their leadership.
Igraspers. While foreign aid has been streaming into India to help us combat the second wave of COVID-19, many of our own Indian companies have also been intensifying their contributions to the cause. Tata Group has increased their oxygen production. The Adani Group has already procured 48 cryogenic tanks to transport liquid oxygen. And the Steel Authority of India Limited has already contributed 40,000 metric tons of oxygen to improve its reach to hospitals. Paytm Foundation is attempting to engage Rs 10 crores for oxygen concentrators, while Vistara Airlines have already flown PPE kits and medical supplies all across the country. They have also pledged to fly medical frontline workers for free during the pandemic. Mankind Pharma, Oyo and Greg are just some of the names in this constantly increasing list of Indian COVID ambassadors. We salute all their efforts.
Spain has ended their state of emergency they put in place last October, which now allows their citizens to travel regionally. Spanish citizens were not allowed to travel between the several regions within their country. But due to the COVID surge in the country lessening, the government has decided not to renew the state of emergency that expired earlier this week. The government had earlier eased restrictions around Christmas, but has now done away with the state of emergency entirely. Many experts, however, are advising caution to the public as gathering for large social events still poses a risk of the virus spreading. Therefore, Local governments are advising their citizens to be vigilant and careful.
On May 9th, last Sunday, a large part of a Chinese rocket re-entered the Earth's atmosphere and disintegrated over a part of the Indian Ocean near Maldives. The segment was a part of China's Long March 5B rocket, which was used to launch the first module of their new space station into the Earth's orbit. The free-falling re-entry of the segment had caused concern amongst the scientific and global communities, as it could have landed anywhere, causing damage to life and property. Last year, fragments of another Chinese rocket had fallen in Ivory Coast, West Africa. Igraspers, it is important to note that technological and other advancements should not impact life or environment in any way. Share your views on this in an essay. Contact us at igraasp.com.
Great news from the world of technology, Igraspers. IBM has designed an application called Line Chaser to aid visually impaired people to maintain a safe and physical distance from others in public places. This app uses artificial intelligence, color, and infrared sensors to measure the distance between the user and the other people. It then sends them an audio message letting them know how close they were to the other person. So by using this app, a visually impaired person can maintain social distance from others and reduce their chances of contracting infection. Now that's the technology we love.
The battle against the COVID-19 epidemic has brought together the entire world. Now, scientists in the Netherlands have trained bees to identify the COVID-19 strain through their sense of smell. They trained these honey-producing insects by giving them a treat: a water solution mixed with sugar every time they were exposed to the scent of mink infected with the virus. This technique eventually got the bees to identify an infected sample within a few seconds. Aren't animals fascinating, Igraspers?
Did you know, Igraspers, that sharks use the magnetic field of the Earth to navigate Earth's vast oceans? Scientists have recently discovered that these majestic but dangerous predators navigate the deep, dark world underwater by relying on the magnetic field of the Earth to guide them. Many scientists have observed that sharks are able to return to specific locations every year despite them traveling long distances. Scientists even tested this by hypotheses by exposing them to a magnetic field of over 600 kilometers, in which they saw that the behavior of the sharks changed. This new research will allow marine biologists to better understand how sharks migrate across massive distances.
Seema Bisla has become the 4th Indian woman and 8th wrestler overall from India to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. Bisla secured herself the gold medal at the World Olympic Qualifier in Bulgaria in the 50 kg category after her opponent withdrew from the final due to injury. We wish Seema Bisla and all the other wrestlers going to Tokyo the best of luck.
Sherpa guide Kami Rita has been guiding mountain climbers to Mount Everest since 1994. And last week, he climbed the peak for the 25th time. This time, Kami climbed the peak as he and his team were fixing ropes on the icy paths so that other climbers can scale the peak later this month. Mount Everest was closed last season due to the pandemic. This year, the Nepalese government has allowed 43 teams to register during the year's spring climbing season.
The healthcare workers in Romania, a southeastern European country, are offering free Pfizer vaccines to the visitors at the 14th century brand Castle, a Transylvanian attraction. The castle is claimed to be an inspiration for the vampire's towering home in Bram Stoker's novel, Dracula. The castle staff hope the arrangement of the free COVID vaccination center services will bring more people to the site, where tourist numbers have plunged since the start of the pandemic. This development should not only help tourism, but also help the government's goal of vaccinating 10 million of its people by September.
Rome, the capital city of Italy, has seen the installation of Mr. Go Pizza, a pizza vending machine which claims to slide out freshly cooked pizzas within 3 minutes. The machine kneads and tops the dough, and the customers can watch their pizzas being cooked through a small glass window. However, bystanders in Rome have given it mixed reviews, as they would rather have humans make it than AI. Did you know, Igraspers? The classic margherita pizza, which we all drool over, was invented by Raffaele Esposito in Naples in 1889.
Every year, May 15th is celebrated as the International Families Day to respect the social, economic, and demographic changes our families have gone through. With the pandemic, which has impacted our every walk of life, we honor this day more than ever. The 2021 theme of the day focuses on the impacts of new technologies on the well-being of families. The first Families Day was celebrated in 1993 when the United Nations passed a resolution to encourage improved living standards around the world. In 1994, it officially declared it as the International Day of Families to recognize the change in social structure. Igraspers, we would like to know your thoughts on what you feel are the most important things for the well-being of families in current times. Write to us on contactus@igraasp.com.
The word of the week is meticulous, which means someone who shows extreme care for smallest details. Neha is so meticulous in her work. She never misses anything. The riddle of the week is I store and love lots of food, but cannot eat anything. What am I? I am a refrigerator.
Can you guess who? This British statistician and nurse was the founding mother of modern nursing. For her services to the nursing industry, her birthday is observed as the International Nurses' Day. She was lovingly known as the Lady with the Lamp. Well, yes, it was Florence Nightingale. Did you know that besides being a dedicated nurse, Florence was also a social reformer?
Did you know that ostriches are the largest birds in the world? With heights of up to 9 feet, these flightless birds can run as fast as 69 kilometers per hour. So if you were racing with an ostrich in a city in India, the ostrich is sure to zoom past you.
Quiz time! Which country are ostriches native to? Send your answers to contact us at igraasp.com. Answer for the last week's quiz. Spain, Sweden and Switzerland were among the 9 European nations that did not join any powers during World War II. They remained neutral. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Ansh Nijhavan of Indraprastha Global School, Noida, for successfully participating in the weekly quiz on India's leading news capsule for tweens, Igraasp.
Dear Igraspers, this week let's read a tale dark and grim. In this fascinating storybook, Hansel and Gretel step out of their own story to enter 8 other fairy tales inspired by the Grimm brothers. Hansel and Gretel are in search of parents who love and deserve them. In order to find them, they will walk through dark and mysterious forests, solve riddles, cast and break spells, and engage in dangerous adventures. Read this twisted fairy tale and share your feedback on igraasp.com/iClub.
It's now time to wrap up today's news capsule. Kindness is free to give, but priceless to receive. Until we meet again next week, continue to be kind, grateful, and compassionate. We all have it in us to give. Bye-bye.